What's going on, guys? Welcome to August's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about them. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And a couple quick reminders to download and play Street Fighter V and PUBG next month. Those are our games for PlayStation Plus. We talked about that a little bit in the last episode, so let's talk about it again. What do we feel about those games next month? Not stoked about the shooters. I know you guys.
Well, it's not even the shooter aspect for me. It's more so the battle royale aspect. Not super excited for that. But, you know, I haven't played it, so realistically, give it a shot. Maybe I'll be surprised. Doubt it, but maybe. And then Street Fighter. I have not played this Street Fighter, so maybe I need to try it out.
We do not have this Street Fighter.
I do not. I also, I enjoy fighting games enough, but I'm not like necessarily like amazing at them or anything.
He loves them, and he's really good at them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm less excited about Street Fighter V, but I think it's a really good get. It's a AAA premium, top tier fucking fighting game. So it's really cool for everybody to get to play. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to try it because I wasn't going to buy it. And then PUBG, I played on PC. I won't talk about my impressions of that too much. I am concerned about where PUBG is at now at this point in the battle royale genre's trajectory. The ones that have worked are working, and the ones that are trying Hyperscape are not. So I want to see where PUBG lands at this point. And I never played it on console, so I'm excited to try it there. Other than that, though, both games I think will be a good game. They're both kind of like, I don't want to say temporary, but they're games that these aren't like 60-hour story-driven games. So this upcoming month is going to be pretty easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
kind of the problem I have, is that they're both very like short-lived games or like short playtime games, and there's no like, they're really focused on PvP aspects. And while that's fine, I really would like a balance in my Plus games of one PvP space game and one game that's a little more story-based or a little more like PvE friendly. Because lately, just personally, I've been kind of washed of playing PvP content.
It's like the months where they give us two fucking story narrative-driven games at once, or Telltale games, or
a month with one and another month with one.
Yeah.
And, like they did that rapid fire. So.
Yeah. So we'll be playing those games in September, so make sure to download those, play those, and come back at the end of that month. We'll be discussing that. Today we're going to be discussing Modern Warfare 2 Remastered and Fall Guys. Hopefully you guys had a chance to download those, play those. And before we talk about those, our game of the month is still Earth Defense Force 5. Make sure to play that as well. We're going to be talking about that in about a day or two, probably Sunday. If you didn't get a chance to play, or not, didn't get a chance to play that, but it is a third-person shooter where you shoot insects and frog people and all sorts of weird shit.
And loot.
Blow up a lot of things. There's loot, and there's a wing diver that flies around. Make sure to play that, and we're going to discuss that. We have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us, we have Patreon link down below as well. If you'd like to support the channel further than liking, commenting, sharing the video with everyone that you know, including your grandma, she'll appreciate it.
She'll love the language here.
Yeah, she's like, that fuzzy-faced guy. Well, I guess there's three of them. That says fuck a lot. I like him a lot.
Which fucking one?
Yeah, it's true. So check that out if you're interested in supporting the channel further than all that stuff. I think that's everything.
I think so as well.
I think I covered it all. So, in August, we played Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, which is a Call of Duty game. I'm sure you guys know that. And Fall Guys, which released this month and was offered for free on PlayStation Plus, which was a pretty big get, I think, in general, considering it was the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game ever. So, the hype is real. During the beta, I had people asking me for keys. I was giving out keys. I couldn't give out enough keys. They just kept coming. They're like, hey, bro, you got a key for me? Hey, bro, you got a key for me? Hey, bro, hey, Fall Guy, bro, you got a key for me? And I'm like, here's a key. They're like, oh, thanks. Good looking out. I'm like, yeah, I got you, Fall Guy, bro. There's a whole thing. And that led up to
release
this game coming out for free on PlayStation Plus, and people still going to the Fall Guys Twitter and going, hey, bro, you got a key for me? And they're like, it's coming out on PlayStation Plus for free. What are you talking about? Where's my review key at, bro? Who the fuck are you? You got like 200 subs. Anyway, I feel like we should probably talk about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, considering it's within the genre you guys aren't huge fans of, but also it's a game that's been out for a while. Then we'll talk about Fall Guys, which I think is going to be a bigger topic. So if you didn't get a chance to play Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, it is the second Modern Warfare in the trilogy of the original Modern Warfare games that came out a while ago. This is a remaster, so they have made it look a lot better. It has come out with only the single player, not the multiplayer that originally came with the original Modern Warfare 2. And it is a military shooter involving a world traveling plot that involves different countries essentially going to war.
Very cinematic.
In modern times. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of cinematics and a lot of Russians invading things. We all played it. And I want to know Chevy's impressions of his experience with Modern Warfare 2.
All right. Well, this is actually one of the Call of Duties that I have actually played before and have beaten. So this was more so a how does this look? How does it translate? Is it still good now? Refresher mostly. So I did not beat it this time. I played it long enough to pretty much solidify any opinions I may have on it.
You're trying to tell me in the time that we've been moving for the last 2 weeks, you didn't beat it?
No. So I guess first and foremost, it being a remaster, it looks really good. It looks like a modern game, which is great. I also really appreciate that they did such a good job in the past with the voice acting and stuff like that, that it also just holds up really well. In fact, pretty much everything I remember about the original game is still there, which is kind of nice to see, because sometimes you come back to a game that you haven't played in a long time and mostly just kind of nostalgia, not actually like it didn't like age well. For example, I think this game did age well, especially in the cinematic / storytelling aspects of the game, which I think has been kind of lost on the series over time. They've gone very Michael Bay with it.
Treyarch did that.
Yeah, as for like this one actually feels like a pretty crazy story. That would be an interesting movie to watch. Yeah, I don't know. It was really interesting because I remember even like starting up, I didn't remember the very beginning, but every Call of Duty's got that, like, do the thing and then do the obstacle course, and then depending on that, it'll suggest a difficulty, for you to play through the game and whatever. I didn't remember the first part of that where like you were showing the recruits essentially, but then we got to the obstacle course. I was like, oh, I remember this. Okay. And then going through and playing through the first couple missions, it's funny how much of that just like was still up here. So I was mostly just kind of taking in like, oh, that looks really cool. That looks really cool. Especially like, right in the beginning where you're back, you're on the gun and you're going down the alleyways, and you're not allowed to fire first because, you have to wait, essentially defend yourself. We're not there to attack, just to defend ourselves or whatever. And seeing the guys up on the balcony, like scouting ahead and stuff like that. I just remember, that being a really tense scene before, and it was very tense again, which I really appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much just have like good stuff to say about it. I can't think of anything about it I didn't like. The controls are still really good. The scenes are good. The graphics good. The voice acting's good. The tension is there, which is great. I don't know. It's interesting because like I can't talk like this about other Call of Duties because most of them just feel like a roller coaster ride. This one actually feels like a story. So
this game, in my opinion, is where that shift happened. It's not the one where it went full into that like crazy high octane fucking hyper shit that Call of Duty was known for forever. But before Modern Warfare, you had the World War II ones made by Infinity Ward. They're all fantastic, so well made, awesome games. And then Modern Warfare was a fucking revelation in gaming. It changed everything for first-person shooters. Everything. I mean, so many FPSs have so much to thank that game for. And this game carried on a lot of those traditions while upping the ante in what they could do in set pieces, having Hans Zimmer do the fucking score for the game, which is just legendary. And
Sorry.
and yeah, they did a great job in that regard. But this one does up the bar a bit in what they are willing to do set piece wise. The game does start out a little kind of crazy and big and bold or whatever, but it also stays grounded compared to the Call of Duties that came after this, in my opinion. It does have a crazy storyline of the idea that, you know, Russians invade the United States or whatever, but it's in a way that, like, me as, you know, somebody who's, I mean, I guess into military shooters, but also the idea of, like, I'm a big history buff, so, like, you know, wars in the past are really interesting to me, and the way they kind of portrayed in this is interesting. It's not just like the Russians parachute out of the sky and you're shooting them. Like, there's this whole thing that happens building up to it, so it has that middle ground of where they were realistic, and then they turned into these fucking crazy Treyarch storylines where vans are flipping upside down all over the fucking place and explosions and shit. And then Modern Warfare 3, which I was not a fan of, where the set pieces were essentially you're running through this huge field of people shooting them, and then someone goes, look, and then the music goes bom bom bom, and it shows the Eiffel Tower and goes and just hits the ground, and they're like, oh my god, and then it just fades out. And I'm like, dude, could you, like, give me a second to process that?
Let me soak it in. Yeah,
it didn't even matter. And yeah, so I said a lot there. I have a lot to say about this game, but you know, I when you said this is like a Call of Duty, you can actually kind of say that about it. Is, for me, in my opinion, and I feel like it kind of backs what you're saying. This is that threshold. This is that line before it went over to the Call of Duty that when people go Call of Duty, that's the Call of Duty they're talking about is after this. I feel like.
No, I agree with that, and I've kind of dabbled in some here and there. In fact, the only other one I could think of that came after this one that the story was enjoyable was
Trango Boom.
Yeah, it was a Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah. That was a good one.
That was. It was still a little wacky, but the story was good.
It went full futuristic, though, cyberpunk shit.
Yeah.
So it is allowed to be wacky.
For sure.
It was like going into, like, getting into people's brains.
When it had
shit.
really cool, like, imagery and stuff like that, too, which I really enjoyed. To go back to Modern Warfare 2, the only other thing I want to add is this game, when it came out, and even to this day, has some scenes that make certain people uncomfortable, and they did a very good job in the very beginning going, hey, do things make you uncomfortable, yes or no? I'm simplifying this. And you go, no, I don't get offended at all, or it's like, I don't know, I might be a little certain things I may not want to see, and the game will skip a certain part of the game, which I think is a shame, but at the same time you should play to your comfort level. So, and I think the game gives you the option.
And that's good. It's good they offer that. I feel like you're taking away from the story, though, that they're telling. You're playing a game where you're shooting and killing people. You know, so if you're comfortable with that, but not comfortable with the scene that is supposed to, it's not Grand Theft Auto. They're not going, kill everybody. It's really fun. You're going to love it. They're going, this is a horrific event that happened.
For sure. And I agree
just
with you.
like war.
But as a product, it is smart.
Sure. That whole part, though, just when I was looking at it, it's just like, look, we made the game. We released it. We remember when IGN pretended to be offended by this. So here's an option to skip it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
For sure.
I still remember. That was like the first time I looked at a gaming publication and went, you guys are full of shit. Holy shit. That was the first time. Because there was just like 5 dudes doing a podcast for IGN when that game first came out, and they're like, Modern Warfare 2, pretty good, yeah, pretty good, yeah, it's pretty good. And then the guy's like, okay, we gotta talk about it. And they're like, let's talk about no Russian. They're like, yep. They're like, did you guys kill any civilians? They're like, no, not me. And then I was like, no, I didn't do it. And I'm like, this is pathetic. You all fucking did it. You all played fucking Grand Theft Auto and just killed the shit out of fucking paramedics and fucking prostitutes.
Fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyway, and you can play that scene and not shoot anybody. Anyway, I'm not going to get into no Russian discussion. It's been years since we've had that discussion was relevant.
Sure.
But it is good that if you play the game in the past, you're like, you know what, I didn't really care for that scene.
Sure.
Yeah, you get the gist. So
It's not like it was removed.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so-
That would have upset me.
For sure.
'Cause
I
That's
agree.
just essentially censoring somebody's fucking vision of their story.
Yeah, and I'm not okay with that part
Me
at all.
neither.
So
It's bullshit. But yeah, if you want to skip it, that's cool. Just like games giving you like a blood option to be able to like, I don't like blood, turn that off. That's fine.
yep, agreed. Though I'm definitely in the park of like, how do you want me to play this game? What was your idea when you made this?
Yeah.
That's how I want to play it.
Well, that's the same reason, not to turn this into talking about everything else, but fucking, it's like when I watch like a foreign movie, I watch in the original language.
Agreed.
Because I don't even want to say that's how it's intended to be watched. That's how it's fucking made.
That's how it's made. Yeah.
So I mean, like I want the story somebody made, and there's gonna be parts in it that, I mean, if it's a great movie, I'm gonna love the whole thing. But a lot of movies, I'm like, that was okay, that was fucking crazy, that was awesome, and same thing with this. But
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
yeah. Anything else?
I mean, no, it's in general. I like I said, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It was enjoyable again, which is great. So,
Yeah. Chris.
Well, as we know, I am the resident FPS master of the group. I play all FPSs all day, every day,
This is
nonstop,
true.
all the time.
360 no scopes. Chris did that first.
I'm doing it right now. That's how good I am.
He's actually playing right now while he's talking to us.
That being said, though, I actually sat down and played through the whole story in one sitting.
You played the whole fucking story?
Yeah, when you messaged me the other day and said, "Oh,
Dope.
let me get out of the museum," I had beaten the game and I was in the museum.
Oh, that
section
makes
of
way
it.
more sense. I thought you were playing Animal Crossing or something. I was like, what museum? What are you talking about?
Wish he had Animal Crossing.
No, yeah, I said I don't beat the whole game. I didn't really have any expectations. 'Cause I've never really played a Call of Duty before. At least not for like any kind of story. I've played like zombies on occasion
Yeah.
with my brother, and that's about the extent of my experience with these games. That being said, and not being a big war buff or history buff, anything like that, I found the story to be a little confusing from time to time. Being like, okay, who the fuck am I now? Where am I? What the fuck is happening? And then the overall, once things started kind of fitting together for me, the predictability of what was going to happen next became really prevalent for me. And I was like, okay, that guy's the bad guy. This person's the bad guy. This is what's really happening. Okay, I get it. It didn't really take away from the gameplay aspects of it, though. It felt very smooth, and it was very helpful for me as a non-FPS player for the snapping, I guess. What you call it with the aiming system, where
Yeah,
if you aim
it has a
behind
pretty
the
heavy
general
aim
area,
assist.
it snaps for you, which is great for storytelling gameplay. I mean, not so much for the PvP, any kind of PvP aspect,
Yeah.
but as the story played, it was really nice that I didn't have to be like on my shit, 6 inches from the screen trying to get all those fucking shots in time. But from what I know of these types of games, I was missing the feel of like being able to choose my own loadout for missions, which I'm sure is not prevalent in any kind of story missions for these games at all. But I was kind of hoping to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black Ops 3 had a really cool
that.
4-player co-op storyline that you like leveled up, unlocked weapons, had loadouts. And they never did it again. And I'm like, why do you guys do this? Why do you guys make a Call of Duty, get one really good feature, and then you're like, fuck that feature, bye.
Yeah.
I think I had the most fun in the game when I had the option to play with a pistol and a combat knife, like the one in each hand, where I could just pop a few people to stun them and walk up and bash them.
Oh, people loved that back in the day on the original Modern Warfare 2 online. People fucking hated it because you ran really fast. You go pop, 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 and just stab people. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. But overall, I didn't have. I mean, I played the game on not the easiest setting, but like the casual setting, because I'm not an FPS player. But I did find some challenge here and there. But overall, it wasn't like just pulling my hair out difficult.
I'm actually glad you did that because I would prefer you have beaten the story than played it to like challenge yourself like that. In FPSs, I always play the standard difficulty typically, unless it's a Tom Clancy game. I typically will just jump to the hardest setting because it's more like realistic bullet wise, and I prefer that. But and then after that, if I want to play it again, I'll up the difficulty for the challenge aspect. But if it's a story-based game, I always play it on the standard difficulty. Because again, if that's the default, that's how they intended the game to be played, in my
Yeah.
opinion, typically. Otherwise, why would they
Right.
set you up for that?
Also, Call of Duty's hard is kind of unfair. So,
Well, just like Halo. I mean,
Yeah.
like, they're fucking grueling.
yeah.
A lot of Call of
I
Duty
mean-
on the hard setting is you just behind cover going, and then you like pop out and shoot someone and go, ugh.
Yep.
Overall, it was okay. I mean, just as a non FPS player, non history buff, non war games player, it was all right. I didn't have a horrible time, but I got a predictable time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the history buff thing I only brought up just because, like, war tactics, stuff like that. I'm really into that kind of stuff. So that's one reason it resonates with me. Yeah. I mean, it's no secret. I really like this game. I really like the original Modern Warfare. I like the Call of Duty that came before that. One thing you mentioned that just want to kind of throw out there in case you don't know. In the original Call of Duties, Call of Duty 1 and 2, they were telling like real stories of war, which I kind of wish they would go back and do. But I guess maybe they're running out of stories. I don't know. But so it's cool because you'd be like a Russian soldier during some fight, some scenario that happened, and then you'd be like an American soldier or whatever, and it kind of like hopped around. You had this like whole experience of World War II or whatever, and I fucking loved that because it was telling these like real stories of real soldiers. And then in Modern Warfare, when they made the jump from World War II to Modern Warfare, they're not telling real modern stories. These are like, obviously written stories. But they still try to maintain that Call of Duty feel of having you hop around. So I can see how that would be kind of confusing when you start the game. It's a sequel to the original Modern Warfare. And when they're talking about like soap or whatever, and like you're playing as this guy with him and this guy with this other dude or whatever, and you're hopping around with your British guy now and then an American over here or whatever. If you have no frame of reference from the last game, or really you haven't been playing Call of Duty, so you're not really used to the fucking hop around characters, I feel like that would kind of be like, the fuck's going on? Because like when I started the game up, I was like, wait, who am I again? Oh, okay, this is that part. Cool. Like, so I get that completely. It's just interesting to hear you say that because that was the first thing I thought. I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, so when this game came out, it was a big deal. A lot of people, loved it. I think people still love it. I love it. Coming back to it, I think it translates really well to modern shooters. Call of Duty early on was so ahead of the game that games are still following its footprint, or its blueprint, and Call of Duty has evolved from this, but hasn't changed a lot. In fact, I think the newest Modern Warfare is probably the biggest change from Call of Duty in a long time, which I welcome. I really like that one. And yeah, so coming back and playing this, big nostalgia boner. I'm playing it. And I'm just like, oh, dude, I love this mission. I love this mission. I like how big and bold the story of this one is. There are some parts, like I said, it does flirt with the Michael Bay-esque stuff a couple times. Specifically, that mission where you're out at the like shack or whatever. And spoiler alert, if you've never played fucking Modern Warfare 2, when Ghost dies and at the helicopter, that part seems kind of like an action movie when you're like escaping from there and stuff like that. Those like isolated situations always feel a little actiony. But some of my favorite things about this game, and particularly, I've talked about this before, but coming back and playing it, the pacing is still there. This is something Call of Duty fucking lost. There are scenes that just kind of take their fucking time for a second. Everything's not in fast forward, which is great. When you sneak around with another character or whatever, and they're like, the animations are still really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they put so much fucking work into this game when it was originally made. This was before they did the 3-year cycle. So this is like a legit fucking game that they were like, we got an idea for a sequel, we're gonna fucking make a sequel. And so like, in earlier missions when you're following fucking Soap around and he's like sneaking through and he grabs a dude and he wrestles him into the fucking lockers and the locker doors are moving and shit and he's fucking killing him. It's got an attention to detail that I still think is impressive to this day. There are a couple parts that feel kind of like fast forward a little bit, but not to the same extent of like the newer Call of Duties. But I still fucking love that scene with the EMP. When it goes off in space, it's such a cool experience that you're not getting in a movie. You're only getting in a game that's willing to do what they did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the pacing of that is so cool because at first when you're in space, you're like looking and you're like, you're the astronaut. You're like, what the fuck is that? It happens, rips everything up from that perspective. That's the last you see of that character. He's gone. Mm-hmm. It was just to give you that perspective. And this game, just like Modern Warfare with a nuke, it allows you to experience these scenarios, even if your character dies, just to have experienced it. And that's something I fucking loved about the early Call of Duties. And then what follows there is people out on the streets in the middle of this fucking war. Everything gets shut down. The lights are out. The Russians don't know what the fuck's going on. The Americans don't know what the fuck's going on. And there's this like pacing and slow crawl through the streets trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, running into other Russians who are like trying to get people out of a tank and shit. They're like, what the hell? And I just really loved that part. And then like when you're taking back the White House and shit, it's big, it's crazy that's even happening.
D-Day.
But it's fucking epic. I fucking love that part. Yeah. There's so many good scenes in this game. And again, I just have to say, Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack to this game, which is huge in my opinion. It's crazy. He hasn't done a whole lot of game soundtracks. I don't know if he has done another game soundtrack. But this is at the height of like that new fucking wave of like, holy shit, Call of Duty's like willing to do what other shooters aren't.
Yeah.
And so they were able to get someone as high profile as Hans Zimmer did the score, and I fucking loved it. I still love it. So anyway, obviously I can sit here and gush. Everybody's played this game. It's great. Looks good graphically. Plays really well. Of course it does. It's Call of Duty. Really smooth, as Chris said. A lot of guns. I forgot how many guns are in Modern Warfare 2. The multiplayer had a shitload. But there's my complaint. The multiplayer is not in this remaster. It's a huge chunk of the game gone. I did enjoy playing the storyline again, but this is not the full experience of Modern Warfare 2. And that really kind of sucks because, you know, after playing the storyline, I'm like, I want to play the multiplayer. I want to play the multiplayer. Well, you can't. It's not there. So I do think that's kind of lazy. And I do think, you know, when you buy Call of Duty, there's a whole suite that you're getting when you buy Call of Duty. You get the single player, unless you bought Black Ops 4. You get the multiplayer, and then back then you got the co-op stuff. Now it's zombies, whatever. This doesn't have any of that. So I do think that's a big... It's not necessary, but man, it's a fucking wasted opportunity to give the full experience of the game. So that is something I will be putting into my grade at the end because I was playing Modern Warfare 2 back in the day a shitload, and I have fond memories of it, like a lot of people. And I can't relive it with this, so I can only play the storyline, which of course I like a lot, but yeah, it just kind of sucks that I don't get to play the whole thing. So all in all, really enjoyed coming back to this game. I think they did a really good job with the remaster. I didn't see any issues. Sometimes with remasters, you know, it seems like this kind of smoothed the game over a little bit. This looks great. Although some of the animations are starting to look a little dated, the game is old. It still translates really well into 2020, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not really.
Let's jump into recommendations. Go ahead. I need to drink water.
I mean, I think the easy ones is if you like Call of Duty games or first-person shooters, pretty much a must-play. If for some reason you didn't catch this one and you like storyline based shooters, which, you know, oftentimes the multiplayer is the focus. This is definitely a game you should play. I would recommend, if you can, play Modern Warfare and then Modern Warfare 2. But
yeah,
think the story is standalone enough that you're not really going to miss out too much. There's just more if you play both.
You can play it by itself, but I really think you should be playing the first game before you play this because the story does carry over.
Yeah, it's a continuation.
There's like big parts in this one that, like, if you didn't play the first game, you're not going to appreciate some of the characters.
For sure. Well, and yeah, and you get that like that connection with certain characters as well. So, which is really I don't want to say it's necessarily important, but it adds more flavor to the experience.
Call of Duty flavor. Ben Jerry's.
I don't really know who else to recommend this to, mostly just because it is missing parts of the game. So it is a story game you're getting. You're still getting the Call of Duty experience, but a fraction of it. Yeah.
Honestly, it's if I was gonna recommend Modern Warfare 2, I'd recommend the older one to people as a game.
Yeah.
To people who played Modern Warfare 2, I would recommend this remaster. Or somebody who's just like, was that any good? Yeah, play the remaster, check it out. But other than that, like, you're not getting the whole game. It's like think of any other game that might have multiple components and they only offer you half of it. It's kind of hard to go, well, do you want the full thing or the fucking kind of half one? So it's kind of hard to like recommend fully. If this was like the original game fully remastered, I'd recommend it to a lot of fucking people. But it's kind of hard for me to. I mean, if you're somebody who's only into like storyline based FPSs, single player ones, you like Metro or something like that, be like, fuck yeah, play this. Like, you'll probably dig it. But if you're looking for Call of Duty, you're playing Modern Warfare right now, and you play Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, you're playing the new Modern Warfare, you're really enjoying Warzone, I wouldn't go, yeah, go check out Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. I'd be like, did you ever play Modern Warfare 2? See if those servers are still up. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Chris?
The only thing I can think of, and it's pretty niche, but it would be like if you want to see what a hypothetically realistic scenario could be for warfare in the U.S. If you want to see what could possibly happen if Russia were to invade the United States.
If you want to see, in my opinion, one of the better representations that gaming has done of what it would be like to fight a ground war in the United States. Because other games have tried it, I don't think they did a good job. I forgot the name of it, but there's the one that was essentially, what's that movie with the Russians invading? They literally just parachute, huh?
Red Dawn?
Yeah, Red Dawn. It's essentially Red Dawn, except for it's North Korea, which wouldn't happen. And what the fuck was the name of that game? And it tried to do that, but if it didn't, they didn't nail it. But in this, like when you're playing, I think the mission's Wolverines or whatever, you're like running through the neighborhoods, like suburbia, and you're having like you're like in tanks shooting at shit, and it's just like so weird to see that picturesque suburban town, and there's just people fucking in vehicles and military just fucking shooting each other in the sky. There's fucking planes flying over and shit, and you're like, this is wild. And then like you're fighting at like a fucking Burger King. Like it's just like a backdrop, but when you're playing, you're like, this is like if like you were literally in the middle of like a city at a McDonald's and you're using it as cover during a war. Like you don't see it's never happened, so it's just fucking, it's
bizarre.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's a good point to make, and I'm only backing it because I think it is one of the better examples of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you like military shooters, tax shooters, you can turn this fucking difficulty up and have a tax shooter experience.
Where they sneeze and kill you.
But you're only getting that single player. I have to really emphasize that on my recommendation. Yeah. So if you're looking for only a single player game, I could easily recommend this to you. But I just have to emphasize it's not the full game, which really kind of fucking sucks. Because even the co-op mode was neat, and it's not there. Such a weird move on their part. I get it, less work, why not?
Cheaper.
But it's such a missed opportunity. Any other recommendations? First-person shooters. You like first-person shooters?
You like go pew pew? You go pew pew.
This has
pew,
that.
Pew, boom, bang bang.
All right, I'm gonna grade it, which is difficult for me because I would grade it higher. I would grade the original one higher. I'm gonna give this an A-. Giving it an A- because I love this game. I have fond memories of it. I think it translates really well. I think it plays really well. I love the story. I love the music. I love everything about it. But it's missing parts of the game, and so I can't grade it higher than that. And I know A- is fucking high. I'd probably give it like an A if or without that, or if it had all the stuff, but it doesn't. So I'm going A-. Just because it's a really quality. It's a quality ass game. It was fucking a big deal when it first came out. Is doing shit that other games weren't doing when it comes to FPSs, and it just that really translates. You see old games that like push the boundaries in modern time, and you can look at the graphics and they're a little dated or whatever, but you can still see that the amount of work they put into it then is still, you can still appreciate it now. And this is one of those games, in my opinion. So A minus. Chevy.
Honestly, most of my reasons are going to be the same. My grade's just different. I'm going to give it a B plus. I do think I would probably give it an A range grade if the whole game was there. And that's coming from someone who probably wouldn't even actually take advantage of those. It's just as someone who knows that stuff used to be there and now that it's gone, that's kind of a weird thought.
You can still acknowledge that you're not getting a full experience of a game that was more.
And really, like, how much playability are you getting there? I mean, like, even like revisiting it.
A 6-hour campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to play through it probably once.
Yeah.
So it's really neat. They did a really good job with it. I don't have anything negative to say about what was given, as much as I wish there was more given. So
give me more given. Chris.
So I haven't played the first one, and going into that, knowing that I'm missing part of the story, I still think I'm going to have to give it.
D's for duty.
Life's rough, baby.
Call of Duty.
Life is so rough.
It's a really weak B minus for me. It's a teetering on a C plus B minus area, but I'll give it a B minus because it is updated. It does play very smooth, and it's not constant like running, like you said, running guns ablazing. There are moments of slow and steady, quiet. Take the shot if you need to, or let them go if you want to. But the story was confusing at first, and then it's weird. It was such a weird juxtaposition of confusing at first and then predictable as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we're getting. You're just getting the story mode, and if the story itself isn't compelling enough, I'm going to have to give it a lower grade because we're not getting multiplayer, and it does feel like it's missing something overall.
Yeah. That was not a full package. It's a 6-hour campaign, and if you thought the story was like okay, then that makes complete sense.
It's how well the game was played for me that is carrying it to the B minus range.
Well, I'm sure you can see that the quality's there of the production of the game. So I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, B minus, B plus, A minus. All good grades. Let us know in the comments, what did you guys think of Modern Warfare 2 Remastered? Did you play the last one, the original one? Did you play the original Modern Warfare? What'd you think of this one? Do you like the way it translates into modern times? Do you think it did a good job on the remastered aspect of it? Does it upset you that there is no multiplayer co-op like in the original one? Are you okay with just having that 6-hour campaign? Did you beat it? Did you not beat it? What do you think of the storyline? And what is your favorite Call of Duty ever? I'm going to throw that to you guys.
I mean, probably Modern Warfare 2, to be honest.
That's fair. Chris, zombies?
The Bang Bang game. Call of Duty Bang Bang.
That's a lot of them. You heard it here. Chris loves all Call of Duties. That's his favorite. I think Modern Warfare 2, but I also played the original Call of Duty when it came out on PC back. I mean, it was popular, but that was coming right off of when they left and after they made Allied Assault, which I loved. I still have such fond memories of playing Carentan and the fucking multiplayer of the original Call of Duty, but such a good map for its time. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2 really just fucking changed everything. And so I really kind of hold them, as an FPS fan, I hold them in a very high regard.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. I almost look at them as the same game, because it's a continued story and the multiplayer is similar or whatever, but they are definitely different. When it comes to the multiplayer aspect, though, I have a real big fondness for the original Black Ops, which is funny because I used to look at Treyarch and I was like, you guys are fucking just copying Infinity Ward. You guys fucking don't have your own ideas. You guys ruin the storylines. Your stories fucking suck. Your multiplayer sucks. It's laggy. And then Josh made me play Black Ops, the multiplayer. And I ended up fucking loving it. It was still laggy for some reason. There's this weird fucking lag that happened in that game all the time. But It was so good. I have such fond memories of Black Ops multiplayer. But yeah, when it comes to the whole package of Modern Warfare 2, I can't even decide between the two. So yeah, so let us know in the comments below what you think of all that shit I said. What would you grade it? The other game we played this month was Fall Guys. If you didn't get a chance to play that, it is a battle royale that is up to 60 people per session. You go from map to map, running obstacle courses, playing mini games, doing team-based games, sometimes sports, random shit. And as you go, you get eliminated, and it comes down to the final being who ends up getting the crown, possibly, and winning the whole battle royale. There's a season. You go through the season, you unlock cosmetics, and yeah, it's got a lot of chubby boys who can't stay on their feet for very long. They fall down a lot.
Very, very clumsy beans.
It's very easy to fall over in that game. And a lot of platforming. It's a huge platformer game. We all played it, and I am dying to know Chris's impressions of Fall Guys.
Oh, why me first? Okay, so
Help me!
Help me! Help me!
I don't know what it is currently in my life, what's going on, but any kind of like competitive-esque game is not really high on my radar or personal enjoyment level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed playing Overwatch and whatnot, but currently it is just kind of petering off for me. And
Stranger
this
danger.
game, well, what?
Stranger danger.
Well, all the strangers.
Keep them beans away from me.
Well, I can see the hype for this game. It's bright, it's colorful, it's competitive, it's got weird outfits that
got-
don't really affect anything.
Banging ass bass riffs. Boom, 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 boom.
Very catchy.
It's got this like Takeshi's Castle-esque style gameplay of just kind of like weird, zany platform jumping, puzzle-is kind of shit that you do. But I just
That should be
wasn't
the
feeling
description of this game. Shit that you do.
it. Shit you do with bean people. They're
Takeshi's
apparently 6
Castle
feet
meets
tall.
bean shit.
That being said, personally, I just found myself getting frustrated with the game and not wanting to play.
Yeah, we found out.
That's not saying the game itself is bad, but it did start feeling repetitive after about 4 or 5 rounds. Just kind of like the same thing over and over again. Not a lot of variety felt like was happening in what the levels were. I don't have much else horrible to say about it. The controls are really simple with the game. You walk forward, you jump, you be an asshole when you're grabbing people.
This is true.
You get handsy.
Yeah, people get handsy.
You
in
get
this
real
game.
handsy and fuck the teeter-totter level.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you on that. Did you guys see that heartwarming video that was on Twitter where the guy helped somebody? There's this person. There's that level where there's 2 platforms. You're running and you gotta jump on the yellow platform, then you jump on the next ledge. And a lot of people just jump and grab the ledge and pull themselves up. There's a guy and he just was just jumping up and down, and this guy was just looking at him, and he jumped and grabbed the ledge and pulled himself up. And he's standing up there looking at the guy, and the guy's just jumping, trying to do the fucking pull up thing, and the guy jumps down. And he walks up and grabs him for a second. The guy looks at him, and then he goes, jumps and pulls himself up, and the guy just looks at him, starts jumping up and down. And then the guy's still not getting it, so the guy hops down. He like runs up and grabs him again real quick, and then he jumps and grabs the thing. And he does it a couple more times. He'll grab him and then jump. And then the guy finally goes and pulls himself up, and then the guy goes and starts clapping next to him, and then goes disqualified. Both of them just get like disqualified instantly. I was like, that guy was legit trying to help that guy. That was nice.
No, you know what? That's great, though.
That's the first and only time that ever happened in that game.
I did hear of an article talking about that game where the group worked together to disqualify a hacker. Like even there, because it was like one of those teams of this team versus this team, and they were all working to make the hacker get disqualified.
Why the fuck would you cheat in this game?
Well, that's a whole other discussion. People do it because they can.
No, I know. It's just fucking crazy.
fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. This game attracts griefers, which is weird because it's so like minimal and casual in my opinion. Like some of it is like random. You might make it, you might not in your hands, and then some of it's skill. But like, you know, understanding the maps and being better at platforming other people is going to give you an upper hand. But there's still a lot of like random shit that can happen.
Definitely an element of random.
That people feel like a lot of the game's out of their hands. I've talked to so many people who are like, I don't even feel like I fucking am really having input on this game. I would argue you are in some ways, but there definitely is that element. But
well, intuition's gonna be a huge thing too,
for sure. But in a game that really kind of does not take itself serious, and really the people playing it don't take themselves serious, there's a lot of people who are really dedicated to just fucking with people in this game.
Oh yeah.
I think it has to do with the wacky and zany atmosphere, and that it is casual and there's not a whole lot of stakes outside of that you're going to get eliminated and have to reload the whole fucking game again. But there's so many people in this game who will just try and fuck with people constantly. And it's just interesting. So, with that said, the idea of a hacker getting found and you just got a fucking room of 59 griefers, these guys are all mentally hackers. They just don't have the ability to hack, right? They don't give a fuck about if they win unfairly or not. And the game kind of goes, yeah, if you get hit with a fan and fly across the map and win, who gives a shit? And you're like, I don't care. I don't gotta run the gauntlet at this point. But in a game just full of people who are like, I don't give a fuck about any of these other beans, and then you see a hacker getting the edge on you, I'm not surprised that they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. Let's all group grief this guy.
Get the asshole.
With our powers combined.
Yeah. That all being said, I have to say, personally, I feel like this game, while fun and zany, is kind of just like the flavor of the week.
Flavor of the month.
I know a lot of people have loaded it, and I know a lot of people are enjoying it currently, but I don't personally see it lasting with the numbers currently that much longer. I can see people like getting dedicated to playing it in smaller groups, like it's going to be a little more cult classic-y, and I'm probably going to be wrong. Who fucking knows? But it just feels like it's very much of like, well, this is fun and zany to do right now. Let's do it because everyone else is doing it. But it's going to lose its charm eventually.
Well, I mean, every game does.
Yeah.
But not every game has this kind of following on release. It almost doesn't happen in most games. So we'll see what happens with that. Battle Royales either die or they last a long time. And I think this one is accessible. That formula people dig.
I think the accessibility is a huge thing.
But the accessibility, people who are not playing first-person shooters, they have a Battle Royale to play now.
Well, there's 3 buttons.
Yeah, it's real simple.
Yeah.
And there are people who don't mind getting eliminated easily. I mean, when you go on Twitter, the amount of people who fucking love this game is crazy. When it first released, there were the people who were like, I saw them on Twitter, people were like, I fucking hate this game. I hate this game. It's so frustrating. And then you have more people I'm seeing saying they love the game. The game obviously has a lot of people playing it right now. So we'll see how long the longevity is of it, but I do think it will have a cult following. A lot of games don't have cult followings. They are the flavor. They come out for a week, people love it, play it, and then you don't hear about it ever again. I do think we'll see people playing. This game's gonna have seasons. It's gonna have longevity, as long as they support it well. The next season is gonna have brand new maps, brand new fucking medieval,
completely themed.
Yeah, it's pretty neat looking.
Yeah.
I think what you're gonna see is you saw the big numbers of everybody checking it out because the hype.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be the people who are like, this isn't for me. And then a lot of the people who maybe would have never played a game like this, but it came out on PlayStation Plus for free, which was fucking genius. A lot of those people played it, checked it out, and they might have not have bought it, and now they have it, and they're gonna fucking play it. So time will tell. But I said it, before it even came out. I thought this was gonna be a big deal. It is. I equated it to when Rocket League came out. It had pretty decent success, and then it fucking grew into something huge. It's been a while now. It's been out for a while, and people who are dedicated to Rocket League are dedicated to it still. They love it. Shout out to Cody. Cody loves Rocket League, but Cody League, but at its height, people fucking love that game, and it built into that. So I can see this game doing that for sure. It's already started big. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
You want to explain real quick, as someone who gets frustrated with the game, what's your main frustrations of the game?
Just kind of like what people you said expressed on Twitter. I feel like I have no control over it. I just feel like if I go through the same motions, my outcomes are different every time. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Well, and then the mob, the herd, also is going to interact with the way you play, because you could be platforming really well, and now like 20 people come running over and just trample you, or like in one of the levels, I had a guy fucking get launched from across the map while I was jumping, like a bullet hitting a bullet. It doesn't happen very often. He went pop and just hit me, knocked me off the fucking map. I was like, okay. I think it really does come down to how much you're willing to accept that is going to happen. Because for me, it is frustrating too, but I enjoy frustration. That's why I like really... I like tactical shooters and stuff like that. I do better in stressful situations. I enjoy that. But, some people enjoy the adrenaline of jumping out of a fucking plane. I don't. I don't want that. I don't want to feel that sensation. No. So some people dig certain things, some people don't. And so as long as it's not unfair feeling, frustration for me is... In this game, I wouldn't say I'm enjoying the game because of the frustration, but I do think it's a zany factor to the game that I'm laughing a lot when I play the game. One thing you said, though, and it's something I hear from a lot of people when I talk to them, this game I enjoy, and I'll get into my impressions in a sec, but I can't play for very long. I play for an hour. I feel like I played for 5 hours. It's weird. Yeah. Like it wears on me to play it for too long. Like when I do play and I play with friends, it's fun. I can't play this game alone. But I do feel myself like after an hour going like, okay, that's enough Fall Guys. I'll come back to this later. Which makes it almost impossible feeling for me to finish a season. Like the idea of me finishing... I'll play a fucking a traditional battle royale game. I'll do the season. I've done it before. It's a slog, but I'll do it. But in this, I can't imagine doing it just because it's hard for me to play longer than an hour.
Yeah, see, I don't think I've ever finished a season in anything. I think the closest I ever got was in Destiny 2. So.
They're for the people who are playing the whole month.
Yeah.
Or the duration. Like they're really timed out for you don't have a whole lot of fucking.
Wiggle
room, yeah, unless they offer Call of Duty's good about double XP weekends, double tier weekends, stuff like that.
Play catch up,
but you gotta pay attention to it, and those are typically good weekends to catch up. Like, I missed time to progress,
or I have a job.
Yeah, that's a huge factor.
Yeah,
but
I think a lot of my frustrations with the game could also be coming down to the personal feelings of not wanting to play kind of PvP based content currently. I can't explain why that's happening, but I just have this feeling of I don't want to do that right now.
I mean, people go through moods and stuff like that when it comes to gameplay anyways. I mean, I love JRPGs, but sometimes I don't want to touch them, man. So
I always want to touch them, but I don't have the fucking time. So one thing, though, I noticed...
sounded very inappropriate.
It was intended to sound like that, exactly, and you can interpret it that as such. One thing I've noticed with Battle Royales, though, not just Fall Guys, but Battle Royales in general, is I've played so many of them with so many people, and there is a specific type of mindset some people have. They'll go into a Battle Royale, and they'll lose, and they'll be surprised. They're like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, well, there was 99 other people. And your chances are pretty fucking slim unless you're really good. Then you got a better chance. But even then,
the random factor still
there's
exists.
A lot of variables involved. Some random guy who's not good at the game might have fucking just been sitting in a box for the last 20 minutes. You ran by and he went and killed you. I mean,
what was this? Oops, I accidentally threw this grenade, and you just happened to be on the other side of the tree. I mean,
yeah. And I've played with people like that, and the more you play and the more you're not winning matches, the more they start kind of making excuses or whatever, and it might be a way to maybe cope with if they don't like losing. I get that. I'm able to really just kind of like overlook it. Like even in like a normal game, it's like I got a better chance at being competitive and winning the match or whatever. If I lose, I'm like, if it was close, I'll go, oh, that's fucking close. But I enjoy that aspect. I don't mind losing. It just makes me want to win more. But in a battle royale, I throw that shit out the fucking window. I play competitively, but I go into every fucking match assuming I'm gonna lose. And so there's certain, and I'm not saying you're one of these people. I'm just saying that playing a game when you're playing against people, the idea of competitively competing with people and maybe wanting to win, and then losing every match you play could be taxing. I can see that over time. Like you can only lose constantly for so many hours. You know? So I mean, like, how fun is that to just keep losing? So the genre really it seems like a temporary fun time for people who potentially are not interested in losing over and over and over again as a form of entertainment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to break it down because like these types of games, you know, there's like a bunch of different types of people who will stay and play it, and there's a bunch of people who won't stay and play it for a bunch of different reasons, and it's an interesting thing to kind of look at in like a psychological. I'm not obviously a psychologist, but in like a psychological behavior kind of way, it's interesting. I've noticed so many different like behaviors of the way people play battle royales. So, I mean, I've seen similar ways in fighting games. There's a weird pride in fighting games where when you beat somebody, I've done this a couple of times, specifically in Soul Calibur, because that's my fighting game, where I beat some. There's one time a friend of mine back in the day, I beat him 99 times in a row, and he just wouldn't give up. I'm like, do you want to play something else? And he's like, nope, I got to get a win. I'm like, and finally I like just let him win so we could stop. I was like, oh no. And there's that pride aspect of like, oh, I gotta fucking beat this guy. And I'm like, I'm getting bored. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's just interesting to see those kind of behaviors and how people react and stuff like that. I don't know. That was interesting to see.
It's like the human condition. There's always that that wantingness to achieve, and that the endorphin rush of winning or
winning feels great. Mm-hmm. I mean, getting that win, you're like, fuck yeah. So, you know, getting those losses a lot, you're just like, oh man, do I suck? I must really fucking suck. I have to suck. I can't win. I never win. If I don't win, I must be bad. But then I'm like, throw that shit out the fucking window with a battle royale, because everybody's losing. Everyone you're playing with, they're all fucking losing except for one guy.
Yeah. And
he probably fucking got lucky anyway. Going back real quick, did you guys see that video of the hacker? It's like the very last level, and as soon as it goes 3, 2, 1, the guy goes just flies up the fucking hill, just like, and they're all just like, look at him. I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous.
No, I haven't seen any videos of hackers at all.
So when you're earlier, like, why would you hack in that game? Well, I don't even know if that guy made it to the end or not. I feel like he probably shot off the map because he was going fucking fast.
Well,
like,
he won.
I feel like he went into a different game. He hopped from Fall Guys over to fucking...
He made season 3.
Dark Souls on it. Yeah, he's in season 3 right now going like, do you guys know about the cowboy shit coming? What cowboy shit? You'll get here eventually. I'm moving into season 5 now. I'll see you there. Guys are developing it, and he's just fucking in the computer looking around like, what is this supposed to be? Dinosaur. Okay, cool. Anyway, that was a fun deep dive. Do you have anything else to say on your impressions?
I'm just a bitter old man.
I feel it. I'm getting there. I'm right behind you guys. I'll keep this short. I played this in the beta. I enjoyed it there. I enjoyed it playing this month. I only played a little bit. Obviously, we moved, so it kind of got in the way of playing a lot of games. My favorite thing about this game is the simplicity and the idea itself. I think there's huge potential here. I think, and I've been saying this for a while now, if they support this game really well, I think they're gonna knock it out of the park. They already knocked it out of the park. It's already done. It's a success. But I think that this game could really kind of like be something, you know, worth remembering, I guess, as in gaming history. With taking a popular genre that I feel like is stagnant at this point. I mean, they got their ideas down. You got like the 3 big ones out there, and really kind of flipping upside down and going, why has it got to be a shooter? Let's
Yeah.
do something else. And some people have tried it, but again, that simplicity, they nailed it. I mean, it's hard to fuck up this idea. Even the guy who made it was like, I don't know why somebody else didn't think of this. And that's my favorite thing about the game. It's just like this idea of taking a genre that I think is really fun. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy if it wasn't a shooter, and making it into a fucking platformer. The most fucking standard and expected fucking genre in all of gaming. We all grew up with platforming, unless you're like 10 right now and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I only play Fortnite. There's some platforming in that. When you're jumping from that fucking building you built in less than 1 second and you jump onto the next building you're building in less than 1 second. That's platforming. And we all did it back in the ancient days.
Not like that, but yeah.
And so to essentially take that basic fundamental idea of platforming and turn that into one of the most popular genres out there right now, I think is awesome. I think it's a really good idea. I think the visual style is accessible to everybody. Everybody likes chubby, colorful stuff, with goofy music and all that stuff. There's a comedic factor to the game that even people watching the game, as seen on Twitch, the numbers, people like watching the game. There's a comedic factor to it, whether it's your bean tripping all over the fucking place, or you were doing really well, kind of Mario Kart-esque, and then you fucking did bad, or you were doing bad and now you're doing good. There's that random aspect. Every time you watch someone play, you're like, I don't know what's going to happen next. And then, of course, people's reactions. People fucking yell, scream, freak out, celebrate when they win. And there's just a lot of really heavy communal aspects to this game that I think will give it legs in the long run. So yeah, I mean, I really like it as an idea and as a concept. Playing it, I enjoy playing it. I can't play for very long. I already went over that, which is the confusing factor, which will come into my grade. But all in all, it's a game that I do enjoy. I did like playing it. I can only play with friends. I can't play it on my own. And I'm looking forward to see the future of this game. Also, shout out to Sony and the guys who make this game. Releasing this for free on PlayStation Plus, fucking smart.
At launch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very smart. Because now they got people locked in. They have sealed their success. They've just went, this game's a success. People are going to play it.
Yeah.
So, really smart. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much only agree with pretty much everything I said here.
I can only agree with like 25% what you just said. The rest of it's all wrong.
The game is it's fun, it's frustrating, it's competitive, but not like in a aggressive sort of way. I mean, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint it. Like, I don't play competitive games at least for the sake of the competitive aspect. I'm usually playing it because I'm playing with someone. And this game, I do have that as well. But even when the matches are going, my thought process isn't on, I need to win, I need to win, I need to win, even though obviously that's the goal. It's more so, I need to qualify is usually where my brain is at with this. Because I do have that mentality of, I'm going to lose eventually. That's just the fact of the matter. And if I don't, awesome, I will be thrilled, don't get me wrong. But I have no expectation of victory. So it's really hard to be disappointed, like even on the first map, if I don't qualify because fucking everything on the map went wrong for me that run. I mean, that's just the game. So and I'm also fortunate to be able to kind of shut that kind of stuff off in my brain. So I don't have a huge competitive drive anyway. So even when I play something like, to go back to Call of Duty, for example, I don't have like this, like, I gotta win thing going in my head. I want to win. Don't get me wrong.
Except for fighting games, he plays this fucking like, well, I don't care if I win, and then he starts just destroying everybody. And everybody's like, man, we can't beat Chevy. He's like, haha. I'm like, yeah, he's liking it. He's just fucking
I
playing.
enjoy playing, I'm sure.
Oh, I enjoy playing when I'm destroying you guys. You guys can't touch me.
Not necessarily true. I got plenty of fighting games that you guys would probably cream me at.
I'll fucking wreck you in Soul Calibur.
Probably. And I'll probably still enjoy myself.
Not Mortal Kombat, though. I learned that. I was like, I'm pretty decent at Mortal Kombat, and then you and Mike just fucking wrecked me. I was like, all right. And then Mike went from doing really well to you just slowly learned like everyone's fucking moves, and no one could beat you. And I was like, all right. The AI has adapted. We can't beat him.
The problem was that Mike wasn't adapting back.
Mike doesn't adapt. Mike's stuck in one Mike mode.
So I just got used to his movements and just was ready for them. Yeah. All that being said, the one thing the game is missing is, right now at least, the variable of maps. I do know that some of the maps that were in the beta were pulled before the release, and they did bring one of them back to my knowledge.
It's kind of smart that they're able to individually pull maps out of the game, out of the rotation, the way they did that, because some of the maps they pulled out were to fix them while the game was still going.
In service, yeah.
Yeah.
But it does give it kind of gives you the theme park vibe, though, because then like this ride's closed
ride's
right
down,
now.
yeah.
Exactly.
That was
But
the thing I thought too. That was
yeah,
interesting.
there's other rides here, and my concern was, what are they going to do with this game long term? And seeing season 2 and them literally adding completely new maps, but not even just like new maps, but to my knowledge, in the current maps, you can't modify anything in the map, and they literally showed like moving platforms around and stuff in the new season.
Yeah, it almost like looked like siege weaponry or something like that, since all medieval shit.
Yeah, so like that makes me really hopeful that they're just going to embrace creativity and just.
They already have a pretty good plethora of different types of game modes that offer grabbing eggs and throwing in a basket, or just jumping.
Just from the example we were given in season 1, though,
pulling butt plugs out of
it'd be really
beans.
easy to just assume that they're going to stick to those formulas. Mm-hmm. And they're showing us they're not.
This early on or the next season, they're already showing new ways to play.
And it also shows that their head is in a place of like, we're just going to keep making these mini games that are simple enough, but also, there is a level of skill involved. And I think that is a huge beauty of the game as well, that the bar to entry is like here, but you can be this person. Now there's that random factor there, but I've seen so many clips of people who are just like consistently good at certain games, as long as the random thing doesn't screw them up. Mm-hmm. So there is definitely a skill involved too. So it isn't just pure randomness. You can be skilled with this game
for sure.
Random is gonna come into play.
If you're better at reaction and better at platforming than other people, you're gonna have an edge.
And I think the biggest example of that is the crown match where the platforms fall from under your feet. There's definitely strategy, there's skill, timing, and even like you can be underhand or devious with that too. If you fall down but the person's above you, you can just start taking out the stuff underneath them.
Or you don't even have to plan that. You could literally be still in the first section of that whole thing, running around going, haha, you guys all fell before me, and then all their fucking dumbasses down there just falling and taking out all the layers below you. Yeah. Once you lose your layer, now you got nothing to land on. Yep. So I mean, like that's the random aspect
for sure
of just the game being played.
And I think that's a great thing, because I mean, let's be real, with a shooter, like there are just people who are they are good at shooters, plain and simple. They have that edge, and it is a big edge in a battle royal to be good at shooting a gun.
Sure. That's one of the arguments for ranked modes.
Yep.
People who are really good at FPSs hate ranked modes because they're like, I don't want to play against people as good as me. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well,
but then people who aren't that great are like, I don't want to play against really good people. I just want to play against people who are like, as good as me. And it makes complete sense. That's actually something. Do you think they should implement that?
I think after the season we'll find out.
Like if you're like the type of dude who got like the 5 crowns in a row easily, and you're like winning often, or you're making it to like the 7th round more often than other people, maybe put you in a separate category as people who like don't make it past the first fucking or first or second level very often. I think it'd be a pretty easy algorithm to make as a person who doesn't develop games.
Yeah. I think if they have enough information or data, I guess, to show that it is becoming too predictable for certain types of people, and that they're able to just win, then yeah, they should do something like that. But I do also think that with the way the seasons are going, they're not going to have the ability to just stay at that level, because now they have to get used to new stuff. So I don't know, it's tricky. Obviously I'm not a game developer, and I'm not super into competitive stuff. So my thought process on that is going to be not as good as someone who, is more active in both of those fields. But yeah, overall, I think the game is a blast. It is a short dose game, and it's definitely a game I have to play with people. I'm not interested in playing by myself. I think their season pass system is perfectly fair, and I really like the zaniness of the reward structure. I think also the fact that you use crowns as a currency and you can just get them through the season as well.
That's
you don't
smart,
have
yeah.
to win. You are eventually going to be able to buy premium stuff without having to win. So I mean, like, you just have to play, and I think that's the best way to do a system like this. Also, the season in this doesn't seem as like.
There's only like 40 levels, I think.
Well, my whole thing is that, like, they give you, I think it's like, was it 60 or 90 days? I can't remember first season. I think it's 60. But yeah, it's 40 ranks. So you can miss 20 days and just play a level a day, and it'd be really easy for you to like knock out like 3, 4, 5 levels a day if you really wanted to. So catch up would be really easy too. So it's not very strict, and I think that's really good. And I think that just adds to the accessibility of it. So
Yeah. Anything else?
no, the beans are awesome.
Although they need to get that fucking canon figured out, that lore, because they're actually like 6 feet tall. I'm like, ew.
I love the picture of the mech.
Yeah, the person inside the bean. That's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Or how about the fact that they're wearing face plates, which would indicate that there's something behind the mask?
Yeah. They said that it's legit canon that they're faceplates. So I'm like, okay, what's behind that? There's that picture of just like some creepy dude in there, and I was like, ew. I hope they don't. They don't
Just let
explain
people,
that.
just let people have imagination in
It's
this.
like, yeah, they're 6 feet tall and those are faceplates.
Give them just enough to get weird.
That they already have. So let's jump into recommendations. I'm gonna throw the ball to you guys because I'm gonna say everybody should try this game.
I literally, this is one of the few times I do think everyone does apply, because it has 3 buttons. Like,
I don't think everybody's gonna like it. That's not even me thinking that. That's a fact. But I think a lot more people are gonna like this than maybe they thought they would. Like, there's people out there who might not even want to give. When this game came out, people didn't know what the fuck it was. When I was playing the beta, people were like, "What's this?" Like, there was so much hype, but there's still so many people who didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And even when the game came out, I'm on Twitter and I see all these people going like, well, "What's Fall Guys?" Oh, I've been seeing a lot on that. Is it good? Well, like, there's still people who have not fucking touched it because it doesn't look like something in their wheelhouse. That's why I would say I would recommend it to everybody. But there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna try and go, "Yeah, I'm not really into it."
For sure.
The only thing that I would also add as a caveat is if you don't like competitive stuff, you don't like the idea of playing against actual people, even though I do think it's a more casual experience than other
Super
competitive
casual, yeah.
games. I do think you might have an issue playing this for too long, or you might not enjoy it just because it is competitive. If you don't like losing, and there's nothing wrong with that, if you're just someone who just does not like losing in games, you might have an issue playing this, or any battle royale. But I would still say check it out and try it.
Yeah. I mean, the only other I completely agree. It definitely, I think everyone should at least try it. And to emphasize that as well, the amount of like stuff I've seen specifically like on Twitter of people like being able to play this game with their kids too, like young kids, because the controls really are just that accessible,
Simple.
and able to, they can play and have a good time. The kid can play and have a good time, and they get to. Because it's still at the end of the day, you're versing each other technically.
Yeah,
so.
and it's not a violent game. There's
Yeah.
no blood. There's no crass humor. And
It's just ridiculous.
And if you're like at a certain age, and you're just like liking the idea of playing online with other people, and it's just all this like goofy shit of like trying to get the tail off somebody,
and
or
they
like
can't talk to you, so there's no no vulgar language or anything.
I do think it's a really good option for an online multiplayer game that's not a game where, I grew up fucking watching Beavis and Butthead. I'm old and fucking
and being teabagged in Halo.
Being teabagged in Halo, but more so playing Mortal Kombat with blood on. Our
Especially
mom
on
was very
Genesis,
good
yeah.
about just like, you can play it, just understand it's not real, blah blah blah. But I would still say if you're one of those people who has kids, or you got like a niece or nephew or whatever, and you're a little more protective about like, I don't want them to see bloody shit right now, or I don't want them playing Call of Duty or something like that. This is a great option, I think.
Agreed.
To just be like, yeah, you just play this. Level me up in the season.
Perfect.
Play it for 10 hours for me. Like that's perfect. Any thoughts on recommendations, Chris?
No, I think you guys covered it pretty well.
Yeah. I graded first last time, and Chris went first, so grade it, Chevy.
Actually, I'm going to grade it the same as the last game, which is a B plus. And the only reason, honestly, I want to go higher, but the only reason I can't is just because I do feel the hook is missing for me.
Yeah.
To be able to play longer and the ability to play by myself. If it had those two things, this would be an A range game pretty easy for me because it is fun. I'm laughing the whole time playing it. And it allows you to play with 3 friends. You're still versing, but occasionally you get to play with them. So I don't know. It's a neat formula. I really hope it evolves into something I want to play more.
For sure. Chris.
I am also going to go with my last grade as a B minus for beans.
Bean minus.
I'm giving it a bean minus.
Just because of my own personal frustrations with the controls, and just it's just not what I was looking for currently. So just going by my mood, it's a B minus. Fortunately, I see the potential in the game. I can see why people really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But just a B minus.
Makes sense. I'm going to go right in the middle of the beans with the B. I think it's a great game. I think it's very solid. I think it's a great foundation. I am more in love with the idea of it than the game itself, but I still enjoy playing it and recommend it to everybody. But I do think that grade, because it is a game that's going to continue on, can shift. By the time this game is said and done, my grade will probably be a different grade. Whether that goes lower or higher, no one knows. But I just feel like a solid B. It's a really solid game, really good, better than C, absolutely. Not an A for me. It's not kind of like what you said. There's no hook, but also I'm not in love with the game. Yeah. I'm in love with the concept. I think it's a smart concept, but when I play it, I like it. It's fine.
Also, I gotta throw out there, I don't like platforming in games, and it kind of doesn't bother me in this game. So
yeah, the casual nature of like how everyone just trips and falls all over and shit. There's less pressure of going like, you better fucking be pinpoint accurate, fucking jumping on that platform
for sure. It's not Super Meat Boy.
The game's also early on a little more lenient about if you fail the platforming, because you'll fall down to a lower area where you're like a millisecond behind everybody else, and you're just like having to catch up. Later, it becomes more difficult where the lava comes up and gets you. But yeah, it's the game at no point ever is like
get good slap.
Yeah, it's not. It really doesn't take itself serious at all, which I think is part of the major charm of the game.
For sure, I agree.
All right, so we got a B minus, and a B plus. Let us know in the comments. Did you play Fall Guys? Did you not play it? What did you think of it? Do you like the idea? Do you like playing it? Do you normally play battle royales? Is this more your speed, or do you like the traditional ones? If you didn't like the game, let me know why you didn't like it. Are you a person who gets frustrated or possibly fatigued playing battle royales in general? Or are you just like really fucking good at them? You're like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I fucking win all the time. I'm the best ever. Prove it.
Show us that.
And yeah, and I'm willing to. I'll listen. Like, just show me, prove it. I want to see it. But yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about, and grade it if you want. And what do you want from the future of this game? One last question: what's your favorite and least favorite course? Seesaw is my least favorite.
Put me on the spot now. I can't think. I think jumping through the rings is my least favorite. I hate that map.
Interesting.
A lot.
Oh no, never mind. Seesaws was my original least favorite. I think my least favorite now is probably the sports one with the goals. That one drives me nuts because it's legitimately competitive. And you're playing a game that's very casual feeling. And so most people, when they get there, they're like, and they all just kind of go fuck off. And if you're playing as a team who's like, let's fucking win, you can't beat them.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of games, but the whole, every course in that game is not like that. And then when that one happens, you find out who's the team players and who's not the team players.
Yeah.
And that one gets frustrating for me.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely the rings for me. For some reason, that one just constantly frustrates me. And I think it's more so that I always seem to be standing in the wrong fucking place all the time. I get to a ring, someone's already through it. I get to a ring, someone's already through it. I'm like, I hate this so much. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what my favorite is.
3 of my favorite ones are the end platform one that eliminates the platforms when you walk on
That's
them.
a lot of people's favorite one.
Yeah,
right
I think it's a really simple and basic and half skill, half random course. It's fun to play. I like the uphill one. I forgot what it's called. When the lava's rising, I think it's a decent platformer. But there's a
That's another one a lot of people say.
There's an element of like, oh fuck, you can't fuck around too long. You got to get up there.
There's
and
also
then,
like actual skilled platforming in that one.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, it just feels a little hectic, a little more so than the other ones. And then I like, even though it stresses me the fuck out, I like Fruit Shoot.
And that one's fun. I like that one. I think Whirly Gig's probably my favorite, even though I hate the first fan. I hate the first fan.
Is that the one where you got to run through the center and it's like... One time in the beta, that thing hit me, knocked me up the wall, and then my guy grabbed the wall at the top and climbed over and just jumped off the side, and I just got through. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
I don't know. I think I like that one so much because even though it is frustrating, the fans do crazy things to you, and so your experience is always different in that map. So I like that.
Chris is over here like all of them.
Can't tell you my favorite, but I can tell you my least favorite.
What's your least favorite?
Fucking seesaws.
That one doesn't bother me at all.
That one's only frustrating because people's inability to understand the basic physics of a seesaw can really, like, when you're standing there just waiting for this seesaw, it's completely vertical with like the Titanic with all these people at the top, and you're just like, dude, come on, man, fucking balance it out. I can't go any further.
Yeah. No, it's...
And you can just see people on the other side just jumping off like fucking lemmings and just falling off the platform.
People really kind of abandon all logic in that too, because that thing will not be lined up to jump yet, and people just see movement and they're like, let's go, and they just like fall off. I'm like, where are you going? And then seesaw's fucking weight changes so sporadically. I'm like, this is chaos. This is like fucking anarchy. It's scary. Everybody's just going insane.
Also shows how bad people are at cooperation. So.
And then there's people at the end just waiting for everyone and fucking just grabbing people and shit.
Are you on the list? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like that one.
That's a lot of, and that was my least favorite too. But then I just think about, I only jokingly say it's my least favorite because I've never failed that. I've never disqualified in that one. So it's not like a big deal. I just get frustrated with people when I play that. But the sports one with the goals, that one annoys the fuck out of me. I get really fucking annoyed to the point where, and Chris gets really annoyed too because he fucking was yelling at us. And I get it because
really
mentally,
could have recorded that.
I think I did. I might have trimmed it. Fuck, I don't know. If I have it, I'll try and put in this episode. Help me.
The sheer panic in my voice.
Yeah, that was the most panic I've ever heard you. I was like, oh my God, we gotta help him. I didn't know if he's getting kidnapped or what.
I just immediately went into my, like, because he gets a little panicky when he tanks in MMOs too. And I just kind of get into my immediate, like, you're fine, dude, you're fine.
He's that reassurance. This is not going the way it's supposed to. His vocal reaction is my mental reaction when I play that fucking mode. But it's not help me with the goal. It's like, help me with the fucking ball. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I'll just look over and there's a guy on my team just like in the field running around. I'm like, what's over there?
Yeah. For sure.
But then I'm like, but everybody's just having fun. So it's like, it's my competitive aspect that I'm just like, chill the fuck out. Yeah. So that's my probably most frustrating one. So I'm going to throw the question to everybody watching. What's your favorite course? What's your least favorite one and why? But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Tasty Loot Gaming. I forgot. I got to cut those fucking things out of my vernacular because some of those things are just fucking obsolete. We have Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. We have Game of the Month coming very soon. Chevy will be picking next month's game of the month, so make sure to come back at least for that to find out what the fuck we're all going to be playing in September. Yeah, anything else? Hashtag AskTLG if you want your comment to be considered. I said that last episode. I got like 3 already, so we're running out of...
I saw that. People are actually using it. Good job.
I think it's just that 2-week fucking thing. They're like, they haven't read my comment in weeks. Fucking, they better read this goddamn one. We will. We'll read those. Yeah. Thank you for typing that in. But if you want your comment to be considered on Tastecast, type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment, and it will be considered. But I only do like 5 comments an episode, so we got like 2 left. If we ever surpass 5 of them, I don't know what the system will be at that point. We'll figure it out at that point.
I say if we have time, we just do them. But
sure,
I'm not the boss.
Sure,
so.
I'm the boss. I'm the fucking boss.
I'm just the guy who sits here, man.
That's fair. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.